This is first, this Eldorado.
It is, yeah, so you gotta be ready.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We're delighted that you could join us for this service. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Ella McGaw, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or visitor to our congregation, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about us and to receive our weekly email newsletter. Also, if you'd like to be greeted as a newcomer after the service, please take a red mug and members will seek you out to make sure you are warmly welcomed. And if you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. We welcome children of all ages to our service. For quiet play, we have a children's area here in the sanctuary. For ladder activities, we have a nursery just outside the corner entrance to the sanctuary. We also have a comfort room accessible through the back hallway where you can still hear and see the service. A gentle reminder to everyone, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices so that we can enjoy the service uninterrupted by buzzing or ringing. Today's service, titled Time in the Music of Errol Garner, features a series of reflections on time, interspersed with music by Pittsburgh jazz legend Errol Garner. Members of our band this morning are, on drums, David Adepegba, on bass, Taye Mayega, on trumpet, our own Doug Reichfeld, and on piano, Rainy Monteverde. We now have a board moment from our Vice President, Elizabeth Mortimer.
Good morning. My name's Elizabeth Mortimer, and I am the Vice President of the current Board of Trustees. Oops, sorry. Can you hear me now? And I just want to give you a recap on our May board meeting. We canceled our June board meeting because we are having our annual board retreat later on today. So at our May board meeting, that was the last meeting of last year's board. So I would like to thank Rachel Bean, who has been our president for many years, Trina Brown, our treasurer, and Michelle Potvin, our vice president, and Massimo Trigini, who is our member at large. This year, our new board members are Gabe Corman, who is our treasurer, and members at large, John Polak, Liz Baldoni, and Dan Naden. And they attended our May board meeting, although their terms did not begin until June 1st. Remaining on the board is Carol Slomsky, who is our new president, me, our vice president, Mary Jo Hennessy, our secretary, and members at large, Matt Cirilli and Boxy Mountjoy. So I would like to thank all of those Sunnyhill members who have served on the board and who are serving on the current board. Please stand up. At our board meeting, Gretchen Reese and Corey Vittman presented their idea of installing a free food pantry similar to the free little libraries you see around town on the church property. There was a Q&A discussion and overwhelming support from the board members, and they will come back to us later with more details. We received an update on the capital campaign and the renovation. Cost estimates are in process. The must-haves for our new building are additional classrooms, accessibility to both floors, and a renovated kitchen. We discussed the Leo Pride and the Juneteenth celebration, and that was all highlighted, and everyone was invited to attend. We had a treasurer's report from Trina. She explained the cash-based versus accrual-based accounting for the new board members. The church switched to an accrual-based accounting upon recommendation of the Financial Oversight Committee about a year ago. Carol, who is the president, and Gabe, who is our treasurer, will be authorized to sign checks on behalf of the church, and that's taking place. We received a committee report from the newly rebooted Youth and Children Religious Education Committee, and we approved their charter. And we also highlighted that the congregation at our congregational meeting in April approved the welcoming language for the new bylaws with a 93% approval. We had anonymous voting at this meeting, and it went really, really smoothly. We were really pleased with it, and there was a suggestion to add a comment box. Just a reminder to all of you that the board meetings are held the third Tuesday of each month at 7 o'clock here at church. These are open board meetings, and all of you are welcome to attend as guests. If you want to get on the agenda, please contact Carol, our president. If you have any questions, concerns, comments at all, we are all available. You can email all of us board members at board@sunnyhill.org. You can find us in during coffee after the service, or phone us directly. We would love to hear from you. Thanks.
Our opening words were written by Sharon Wiley. You whose hearts are broken, come in. You whom pain has touched in sorrow and shock. You who have cried this week and read the news with sadness. You whom loss has shadowed, you who grieve, come in, come in. You with hearts open to joy and hope, come in. You whom love has touched in friendship and wonder. You who have laughed this week in gratitude for life's many blessings. You to whom gifts are in abundance, you who rejoice, come in, come in. All our hearts are broken and open. All of us here grieve and rejoice. This is our place and this is our hour to gather and sing and cry and laugh. Come in, let us worship together. Please join me in saying the words to light our chalice. We kindle our chalice to honor the light of this moment. During this sacred hour, may we grieve and rejoice, held in this beloved community.
Good morning. Please rise and bow your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn, When the Spirit Says Do.
You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. Sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. Sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance, oh Lord. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh.
Take your time.
Good morning, friends. It is now our time for all ages. If there are any children present that want to come up, now is your chance. Good morning, friends. We have a special guest with us, Ms. Rini, who's on her way over here right now. She is going to be talking about the many gifts of a very talented artist named Errol Garner. Rini, do you think you can share a little bit right now?
I would love that. He's one of my favorite artists. Does anyone want to take a guess what instrument Errol Garner played? Yes.
The guitar.
That's such a good guess. I love the guitar, but it wasn't the guitar. Yes?
The piano. The piano.
Who agrees? Who thinks it was the piano? You're right. It was the piano. In fact, this is a picture of Errol Garner right here. There he is. He's sitting at the piano. He's so cool. So he was born in 1921, which if he was still alive today, he would be like 105 years old. Yeah. Does anyone want to guess what city in America he was born in? Yes.
I don't know, but a city in Louisiana.
That's such a good guess. Why did you say Louisiana? Because that's an excellent guess.
Because I don't know.
That's one of the birthplaces of jazz, probably the birthplace of jazz in America, and that was his specialty.
New York.
Another great guess, because New York was a great hub of the music.
Chicago or Pittsburgh.
Oh, one of those is correct.
Chicago.
The other one.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh! Oh, there were so many great jazz musicians that came from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is such an important city, and we live here. We live in a historic city. But, yes.
I want to tell you something like my auntie Sarah came to Pittsburgh, and I like being with her, and she only had been allowed for a short amount of time, like yesterday and today. Oh. Going to the pool.
That's so cool. See, a lot of people like Pittsburgh, right? A lot of people, even our aunties, right? But it was a really, really important town because people like Errol Garner were born here, and we're so proud of that. Errol Garner, he had brothers and sisters. Who has brothers and sisters? Anybody? Some of us have brothers and sisters, and they were all so proud of their brother Errol. He was so famous. He became famous all over the world. All over the world. Everywhere, people knew his music, and they went to concerts to see him in rooms packed with people like this, even more people, like a stadium. He was so famous, and he came from Pittsburgh. Isn't that so cool? Yeah. But he loved all art. He liked visual art, and he liked music art. What other kinds of art are there?
Color paint.
Color paint is a great one. In fact, Jen is going to say something about this because Errol Garner, he really liked to color paint. He did.
We thought it might be interesting to look at some of Mr. Garner's art and see what we think it might be depicting. Do you guys want to help me with that? See what we see in the art? Okay, here's one right here, okay?
This is so cool. What do you see here?
A boat.
A boat? That's a great idea.
A bird face.
A bird face. Interesting.
It kind of looks like a chandelier.
A chandelier. Okay.
A piano.
He would like that response.
It looks like a bird holding a painting.
A bird holding a painting. And you know, none of those responses are wrong. This is abstract a little bit. What about this next one that he drew? He was so talented. Look at what he did with these colors. Yes.
It kind of looks like a bird playing something with musical instruments.
A bird playing something with musical instruments. I like that.
It kind of looks like a mouth, but it has like colorful stuff all around it.
A mouth that has colorful stuff all around it. Okay, good.
It looks like a circus tent.
A circus tent. Interesting.
A campground.
A campground. Very good for summer. Apropos.
The bottom part kind of looks like a loon.
A loon. That's a great vocabulary word. I didn't even expect that.
It kind of looks like the inside of a body.
An inside of a body. Anatomy. Cool.
The top looks like a bunch of people dancing.
Oh, I like that. A bunch of people dancing, and that's another form of art, huh?
I think it looks like a crown. I want to wear it.
Yeah, it looks like a crown. Who can see that? Can you all see that? Kind of looks like a crown, yeah. Should we do to the next one? Oh, let's go to this one. I love this one.
It kind of looks like a net at the top with colorful and a hippopotamus mouth sticking open.
A hippopotamus mouth, okay, with a net on top.
It looks like the world. It looks like another world.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. It looks like another world.
It looks like Miss Jen's pants. Miss Jen, can you stand up?
It does.
It kind of looks like a tower.
A tower, that's a good one.
In the middle, on the right, it looks like a person sitting on something.
Like a person sitting on something. Yeah, I could see that.
It looks like kind of like a person, and like that part of the person is like its sleeve.
Oh, like a sleeve. That's a colorful, that's cool. One more.
It looks like a girl sitting on a pillow, and her mouth is like.
A girl sitting on a pillow who's making a funny face. Okay, great. Those are all awesome.
You are all such creative thinkers, even more than I had expected. So whether you are creating art or admiring art, it usually brings out feelings or thoughts, right? You all have lots of feelings and thoughts. Sometimes looking or listening to art makes me feel joy or sadness, or it makes me just think about things differently. Here's the magical part about art. Each of those thoughts and feelings that it brings out are our own and as unique as the artwork itself. Creating and appreciating art, whether it's visual like these paintings, or music, or poetry, or theater, can help us tap into a deeper sense of ourselves and each other. It truly colors our world. And with that, we will head to our art classes. Let's sing the kiddos out.
As you go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go. As you go, as you go, may joy surround you as you go. Go in peace. Know our love is with you always as you go, as you go.
Welcome to a musical service promising to lift our spirits. I needed some spirit lifting, and I'm sure you do too. many of us going through difficult, worrisome times, though. Worries about members of our families, our jobs, the current state of our country and the world, and maybe even worries about our own mental health. My name is Judy Spiegel, and I'm a member of the pastoral care team. Our role is to offer you a personal, confidential connection within the Sunnyhill community. Someone to talk to unload on, someone there to listen when you're going through tough times. And we all go through tough times. I believe that it's our personal connections with each other that bind this loving, this accepting community together. And that is what makes Sunnyhill so special. The pastoral care team is here for you, so please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. As most of you know, joys, sorrows, or concerns can be submitted online. I think the easiest way to do that, though, is to scroll down to the very bottom of Wednesday's Beat. You'll find quick links as a category, and listed under that is submit joys and concerns. Or you can fill out a paper card at the desk as you enter the building. It is at this time in the service we share joys and sorrows submitted by members of our congregation. We share the things that we are celebrating as well as the things that we are mourning so that they need not be held alone. After each joy or sorrow that I read, please respond with me by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." I have 2 joys to share today. Let's see. 3 joys. I have 3 joys. This joy is from Allison Calderon. We had a wonderful year in our sharing circle and a wonderful final in-person meeting and potluck this past Tuesday. Almost all of our group members attended, and those who didn't attend were missed. We're joyful for such a fantastic, supportive group this year. To Allison and members of her sharing circle, we hold you in our hearts. Okay. From Joe Barker, a joy. I have no words to express my gratitude to Sunnyhill for Richard's celebration of life. You made it so special and caring. My family was so moved by your kindness. Thank you. To our beloved Joe, his family, and all who attended, we hold you in our hearts. And a final one from Elizabeth Scanlon. I'm happy to share that my granddaughter, Sophia, and Olivia Diaz both received their high school diplomas this week. To Elizabeth and her granddaughters. We hold you in our hearts. Let's see. As we listen to today's musical meditation, we invite anybody who feels moved to do so to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seat.
Spirit of light, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, come to me. Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. We pause to create sacred time with one another, to hold in community all our joys and sorrows, to experience time in the form of spirit. Sabbath time, time set apart from ordinary time, time to reflect, time to reframe, time to refresh, time to live into the mystery and wonder of life. We pause now for a moment of silence as we create sacred time together. May we sense in this moment the spirit of life. May our lives be shaped by compassion and justice, and may love be our guide and companion in all we do, now and always. Amen. Today's service, featuring the music of Errol Garner, was inspired by the doctoral dissertation of Sunnyhill's friend and former collaborative pianist, whom we've already welcomed, Rini Monteverdi. Her dissertation, which led to her doctorate being conferred last year by the University of Pittsburgh, was titled Absence, Communion, Anarchy, Temporal Experience and the Objects of Pittsburgh's Errol Garner. But don't let the title put you off. Our purpose today is not primarily
necessarily educational or intellectual, but rather experiential. I'm not going to attempt to explain or summarize Rini's dissertation. I would probably not be able to do it justice, even if I tried. Instead, what I'm hoping will emerge from today's service is a direct experience of some of the ideas alluded to in Rini's work. Ideas, in my mind, related to unmediated direct experience and the nature of time. Many of you know that last year the Unitarian Universalist Association changed Article 2 of its bylaws, the section titled Purposes and Covenant. While most of the discussion around the changes to Article 2 centered around the new articulation of UU values in the place of the UU principles, the new language also included a section labeled Inspiration, which reads in part as follows. Direct experiences of transcending mystery and wonder are primary sources of UU inspiration. These experiences open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. Now, more than ever before, we truly and deeply need to open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. Because ours is a religious tradition deeply rooted in Western Enlightenment ideas that value rational thought and intellect, we sometimes give short shrift to these direct experiences of transcending mystery and wonder. Today, through a series of reflections about time interspersed with performances of the music of Errol Garner, we hope to provide an opportunity for this kind of direct experience. For those of you who may not be familiar with Errol Garner or his music, Garner, as we heard before, who lived from 1921 to 1977, was a Pittsburgh-born jazz pianist, prolific composer, concert hall artist, and recording star. Garner was one of the most well-known and influential pianists in the world during his lifetime. Surrounded by a musical family, Garner was by all accounts self-taught, began playing at the age of 3, and was performing professionally by the age of 7. Throughout his career, Garner developed a distinctive and original piano style, sometimes compared with Art Tatum and Fats Waller, as well as Claude Debussy. Garner released music on over 40 labels, received multiple Grammy nominations, and recorded one of the greatest selling jazz albums of all time, Concert by the Sea. His published catalog contains nearly 200 compositions, including Misty, which was named number 15 on ASCAP's top list of top songs of the 20th century. Garner was born on June 15th of 1921, so last Sunday was the 104th anniversary of his birth. As Rini writes in her dissertation, Pittsburgh was Garner's permanent home until about 1944. Pianist Ahmad Jamal, who hailed from the same neighborhood, East Liberty, boldly stated that being from Pittsburgh was Garner's defining feature. Jamal said, "What was different about Errol is one word, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh produced this kind of talent. Wiley Avenue is a very special place where all the jam sessions took place. What a wonderful atmosphere for a person who wanted to learn this art form." In fact, Garner was born during the glory years for black music in Pittsburgh, which lasted between the Northern migration following World War I and the mid-1950s. During that period, the black community experienced cultural and social progress due in part to musical spaces like those remembered by Jamal that provided moral uplift and camaraderie. Before we begin listening to the music of Errol Garner as interpreted and performed by Rini and friends, before we begin our direct experience of the transcending mystery and wonder inherent in this music, there are 2 points about Garner's music I'd like to mention. The first is that Garner did not title his musical pieces. The titles were added later by record labels or producers. As Rainey describes it, Garner had no need for titles. He did not use them or participate in their creation. One wonders if he was purposeful in his attempt to evade being caught up in worldliness of work. Whatever his purpose might have been, there is a clear message for us not to get caught up in the names of musical pieces, but to allow ourselves to directly experience the music with or without titles. The second aspect of Garner's music that I ask you to bear in mind is that Errol Garner was known for the prolonged improvised introductions that he played when he performed his music. Concert promoter George Wine recalled that Garner would play these grandiose interludes and introductions before stating a melody that left the audience guessing what song he was about to play. Then, when he finally launched into a melody, people applauded almost as a matter of course. The applause was even more boisterous when he would go into one of his hits like Misty or Laura. The temporal effect of playing this game with Garner, he suggests, is the suspension of or freedom from time. The suspension of or freedom from time is what we're aiming for this morning. To that end, the music will start as I read this poem, His Capable Hands, written in Garner's memory by Bradley Samore. His capable hands were canopies that spanned over an octave or huddled closer than a minor third. His improvisation heard is the mind unmuddled, a tap dance of 10 fingers that makes one forget where or when, despair, ever one. Improvisation heard is the mind unmuddled, the mind unmuddled, a dance of 10 fingers, a dance that makes one forget where or when, despair, ever one. Where or when has despair ever won? Among the most profound books I've ever read is a rather short work, just 100 pages long, by Abraham Joshua Heschel titled The Sabbath. This book deals with the matter of time from a theological perspective. Time, Heschel writes, is our greatest challenge. Space is exposed to our will. We may shape and change the things in space as we please. Time, however, is beyond our reach, beyond our power. It is both near and far, intrinsic to all experience and transcending all experience. Time, then, Heschel says, is otherness, a mystery that hovers above all categories. Yet it is only through time that there is a fellowship and togetherness of all beings. Heschel goes on to say, every one of us occupies a portion of space. This portion of space which my body occupies is taken up by myself in exclusion of anyone else. Yet no one possesses time. There is no moment which I possess exclusively. This very moment belongs to all living beings as it belongs to me. We share time. We own space. Through my ownership of space, I am a rival of all other beings. Through my living in time, I am a contemporary of all other beings. So as challenging as time may be to us as a concept, as something that is by necessity ultimately beyond our control, as challenging as it may be to reconcile ourselves to the passing of time, whether slow or fast, time is also that which connects us to one another more than anything else. Music is created in time at a particular time, in the chronological sense of the word time. But music also exists outside of time, as it invites us to step out of time as a linear construct and into time as sacred experience, as something that is shared in and with community, as something that resides not in the realm of mind, but in the realm of spirit. And when we intentionally gather together for an hour or so, as we do here on Sunday mornings, we are recognizing both the mystery and the gift that time is in our lives. The Sabbath, Heschel says, is spirit in the form of time. Spirit in the form of time. That is a truth that we enact each Sunday. In an interview, when asked how he came to write Misty, Garner said, I wrote Misty from a beautiful rainbow I saw when I was flying from San Francisco to Chicago. At that time, they didn't have jets, and we had to stop off in Denver. When we were coming down, there was a beautiful rainbow. This rainbow was fascinating because it wasn't long, but very wide, and in every color you can imagine. He said, I was playing on my knees like I had a piano with my eyes shut. There was a little old lady sitting next to me, and she was worried about me and thought that I was sick because of what I was doing with my hands while I was humming. She called the air hostess who came over to find out that I was, in fact, writing music in my head. By the time I got off the plane, I had it. We were going to make a record date, so I put it right on that date. Garner said, I always say that wherever she is today, that old lady was the first one in on Misty. It's fascinating to think that someone seated next to us on an airplane, or someone we notice in line at the grocery store, or waiting ahead of us at a traffic light, it's fascinating to think that someone with whom we share space and time only incidentally or even accidentally carries with them an entire universe of memory and experience beyond anything we might be able to imagine. It's fascinating to think that some unknown person next to us might be composing in their head something embedded in that moment that will also go beyond that moment in a way that is transcendent and deeply spiritual. The lyrics we're about to hear with the tune Misty are not the familiar words written by Johnny Burke, but by Nicole Mitchell Gant, previous director of jazz studies at Pitt. She wrote them to better reflect Garner's inspiration for the song.
In the sky, there are clouds that share wisdom of our lives. They're so easily flowed by, so solid they seem from the windows of my dream. Flying high up above the heavens, glimmer light. Looking down, it seems unreal that you are above. I feel misty just thinking of you. Mystery is the mist that I see, 'cause the problems are not as they seem. When I look into your eyes, I know in our love we are free. When I learn from the constellations right, I'll understand that this dream is more than real. The fog is melting, my heart is singing your name.
One of the central challenges of our current era is learning how to step away from the constant noise of everyday life and to become comfortable in our heads. How to be comfortable in an unoccupied state rather than constantly seeking stimulus. Learning simply how to be. In an article in the journal Science, which I'm sure I've mentioned before, a team of researchers described an experiment in which people were simply left alone in a room with nothing to do for between 6 and 15 minutes, after which they were asked if they liked the experience or not. More than half said they did not like it. In follow-up studies, participants were administered an electric shock and then asked if they would pay money to avoid being shocked again. Not at all surprisingly, most participants said they would certainly pay money to avoid pain. However, when these same people were left alone in a room for up to 15 minutes, almost half of them chose to self-administer an electric shock rather than sit alone with their thoughts. How crazy are we that we would rather inflict pain upon ourselves than be alone with our own thoughts for 15 minutes. Isn't that sheer madness? And yet that's exactly what we do through doom scrolling, through inflicting the pain of the never-ending news cycle upon ourselves again and again and again. Rather than sit with our own thoughts, we'd rather torture ourselves with an endless stream of bad news, one little painful electric jolt at a time. I would suggest to you that this is an issue we might need to work on. In the creation story, we're told that God created the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day, God rested. If God can trust that the world will go on without them for a day, why do we persist in acting as if our constant doing and busyness and news monitoring are indispensable? As if the world would stop turning on its axis if we ceased all activity for a short time. There's a great deal of wisdom in the idea of a Sabbath, something to remind us of the sacredness of time. Not time as something that needs to be filled, but as something to appreciate in its own right with a sense of its great unfilled spaciousness. It's a spaciousness that often begins in stopping, in listening, as articulated in this excerpt from a poem titled "Stop, Listen" by Aria F. Jenkins. Music can tenderize your dreams. So tuck aside heartache for now, even if you must return to it. For now, just stop, listen, feel the piano's trill, the pulse of these swishing drums, the sweet dives and escalations of this song, rendering time's ceaseless flow. Listen, friend, put pain to bed. Take a long, overdue sip of love. near the end of her dissertation, Rini suggests that we free ourselves from time's constant demand on us. We are consumers of Garner's music by the very nature of their being produced by labor, a collective labor. But that does not mean we should consume them quickly so that we can get on with our busy lives. They are meant to hold us in a suspended temporal experience, which is going to be different for every listener. It is within that suspension that we can hear the truth about Garner. I would suggest that it is within that suspension that we can hear the truth, full stop. The busiest time of my life by far was my time in seminary. Against the advice of everyone I talked to, I continued to work full-time at my job as a university fundraiser while I was also a full-time Master of Divinity student, not to mention attempting to be a devoted spouse and committed parent. And at various points in that 3-year-long journey, I also volunteered a couple of hours each day at a homeless shelter and worked for several months as a hospital chaplain. The only way I was able to survive and even thrive during this busiest of times was by reminding myself that each and every moment is holy. I had 2 mantras during this time of my life that I kept repeating over and over to myself. One, born of anxiety, was something like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. And the second was this very moment, meaning this very moment is where it all is and what it is all about. I hope and pray that we will take to heart the idea that time is sacred and that we will endeavor to live all the moments of our lives as if they were Sabbath moments. Spirit in the form of time. May it be so. Amen. Our Share the Plate beneficiary for the month of June is the Pittsburgh Equality Center. The Pittsburgh Equality Center serves as a bridge that promotes education, advocacy, and social justice for all LGBTQIA+ people and allies in Western Pennsylvania. You can make a gift online on our website or by text at 412-324-3130. We'll be passing our offering baskets for cash and checks in just a moment. If you are writing a check, please make it out to UUCSH and put Share the Plate in the memo line. Thank you for your generosity. Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please join me in thanking our musicians one more time. It's just We'll close with these words. May the Spirit of love be a living flame before you, a guiding star above you, a firm path below you, and a gentle presence behind you. The band is going to send us home with some more music, but as you go, when you go, go in peace.